It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we have a beer from Kirkstall. I said that with a little bit of like, is it from Kirkstall? Yeah, it's from Kirkstall. A 330ml can of their Spokane West Coast IPA. 5.5% ABV. And this is available in ASDA. Now, we'll get to the can size in a moment because I think in 2025 this could be quite important. Let's get it out into a glass and see what we get. I've become a granddad recently. It was my birthday recently. So I want to thank my daughter for my glass and my granddad keyring, which is quite lovely, isn't it? And I went to open the can. I didn't need it, but that's lovely. That's going to go on my. That's definitely going to go on my car keys, because I'm one of these people that always needs a bottle opener on them. Let's get this out into a glass and see what we get. Right, so beer in the glass. We've got a one finger whitehead. I want to talk about the can as well. There's just hops and stuff on the front of the can, but I never really kind of talk about the artwork anymore, do I? Straight into the beer. One finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation. It's a mixture. There's some larger carbonation, there's some smaller carbonation in there. It's a strawish coloured beer. Looks really good. A bit of a haze. I think that's on the, yeah, that's a haze from the glass. So the beer's been out of the fridge about 15 minutes. Enough time to warm up a little bit. I like my beer to warm up a little bit so I can experience those lovely malts in the beer, really. That's what I'm looking for there. And of course the hops. So let's get the aroma on the beer then. Yeah, this is very good, and I think it's a bit of a step change in that it's a bit of a step back, and it's got a lot to do with the can size here. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing sometimes to take a step back. Sometimes I think you need to evaluate the situation, evaluate the lay of the land, and then go with the best decision. I think this is a really good decision. I'll explain more in a moment, but the clue is that 330ml can in ASDA. The aroma is quite piney. There's a lot of orange peel in here, a little bit of grapefruit. It smells absolutely fantastic, actually. A zingy kind of lemon, lime, grapefruit, orange peel, sort of like citrus fruit aromas. Smells great. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. It's just bliss. It's a proper Westie. Carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth, releases more of the flavour. It's just a fantastic example of a Westie. And the sun's coming out, look at that. So the beer starts off with this little hiss and fizz of carbonation, pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth, releases more of the flavour. It's citrusy, it's zesty. There's grapefruit, there's a lovely bitterness on the back end. Starts off, carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth. You get that kind of sweetness from that malt over there, that kind of wafer biscuit malt. And then it goes over to that just wonderful mouth puckering, mouth smashing bitterness that I just love it. I would much prefer West Coast IPA over East Coast IPA. Now don't get me wrong, I've drunk some terrific East Coast IPAs. But there was a moment in my beer journey which there was so much kind of like movement towards East Coast IPA. So East Coast IPA is all about like literally no bitterness whatsoever, and all about those kind of hops being really fruity in the middle. There was a beer called Stone Ruination, and this is what made me go a little bit. But I didn't at the time. It was only later on when I realised what really happened there that kind of like made me feel slightly kind of gutted for what happened. So Stone Ruination was one of the most bitter, it was 100 IBUs, one of the most bitter beers that Stone Brewing Company could make. Then he brought out Ruination 2.0. And it was all about kind of like soft fruits and lots of flavour in the middle. Bitterness, but not as whacking and great as it. Now, why didn't they just leave Ruination alone? Because people like me, we might be in the minority, but I love a West Coast IPA and I love Ruination. I thought that original Ruination was a brilliant beer. From 2015 onwards, it was all about producing kind of soft, pillowy, cloudy New England IPA, East Coast IPA. But we're starting to see a return of West Coast IPA. This is probably one of my favourite styles of beer. And I'm drinking this now after having a full weekend of Weiss beer. And to be honest, I was drinking my last Weiss beer Saturday night. And I was thinking, I'm getting a little bit bored of this. I'm getting a little bit bored of Weiss beer. Here I am today, Monday, reviewing this West Coast IPA, and I'm thinking, ooh, this could be my replacement, my Saturday night replacement after just getting a little bit bored with Weiss beer. That's fantastic. Juicy, a little bit of sweetness, loads of bitterness in there. Loads of citrusy, orange peel, grapefruit fruits coming through. 5.5% ABV. I want to quickly talk about this 330 milliliter can. So, cool, must be a decade ago now. Gotta be kind of mid 2015s, 2016, something like that. The supermarkets, all of them, started to introduce 330 milliliter cans. Tesco, Morrison's, ASDA, and Sainsbury's. Well, not so much Sainsbury's, but they were introducing cans of craft beer, and they were quite cheap. Anybody remember Disco Forklift Truck? It was in a 330 milliliter can. It was something like £1.50. It was cheap as chips. It was cheap and it was good. All of a sudden, we blew up then into these kind of 440 milliliter cans. This sort of can, larger can, and the price shot up with it. For 100 mils worth, 110 mils more of liquid, the price went to £3 a can, and it was like, it was difficult. But ASDA had it right for a long time. ASDA used to make their own range of 330 milliliter cans, and I think they were £1.20 a can back in the day. and they had solid stouts. They had a really good stout or a porter, really blooming good. They were all their own brand, ASDA branded beers, IPAs, pale ales. They were absolutely outstanding. I can't remember, was it Badco? It was Badco. Badco produced these beers for ASDA, and they were cheap, but they were good, and they were accessible. I think we're starting to see the return of ASDA's Badco here, in that they're reverting back maybe a little bit to the 330 milliliter can. This was about £1.60, £1.70 in my local ASDA. I don't have an exacting receipt to show you, but I don't remember feeling like I've had my pants pulled down with the price of the beer. And to be honest with you, my personal feelings on this is I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see more of the 330 milliliter can. Bring that price point back down. Because you can buy 6 cans, can't you? You can buy 6 330 millilitres of varying styles of beer and mix things up. It's lovely, that. Absolutely lovely. I like that enough to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please check that beer out. It's excellent. Thanks for watching. Put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.